standards, nice guidance, nice guidelines. You can use it, you can adopt it, let's be universal. And they didn't have enough teeth in them. You couldn't hold people accountable. Now they're being held accountable. So I have to kind of side with Ira here, thinking someday I think there's going to be a level of accountability for responsible disclosure. And you wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah, well, I do like, I think that Dennis is perfectly right and right on the spot, because I do like the idea of having, you know, guidelines and community rules for doing things. But still, as a researcher, I do still want to have the possibility, if my conscience and my ethics asks me to do so, to do any kind of disclosure that I feel personally, and I think that that's an ethical point, so it's just a personal assessment, unluckily. I still want to have the freedom to disclose anything that I find in the case that I think that this benefits the community, the users, or the people, more than actually keeping it under a strictly regulated process. So I would say that I'm pretty much in favor of de-emotionalizing the thing, creating processes, creating standards. That thing I like. When you talk about regulation, and I'm European, so I should be the one pro-regulation and not the one against regulation, but when you talk about regulation, that really, really scares me, because regulation applied to security disclosure, in my mind, pops up with the DMCA and Ed Felton not being able to publish his research.
Security, though, right? It's more than security.
Yeah, of course.
So, anyway, closing comments. Basically, I disagree with Stefano. No, he should not have the right to do whatever he pleases whenever he pleases, because the thing is, by disclosing a vulnerability, you're impacting other people. And you're impacting of other people. If you make your rational disclosure and you have no idea what you're talking about, what you're thinking, and you impact society as a whole, you take down 100,000 ATMs or whatever it is just randomly without giving any warning, but it's so important. But you create an impact, you should be held liable for the impact that you create, because you just had this thought process. Because if you let any idiot go around and say, I have this thought process that I really need this, I don't have money to pay for it, but I really need it, but it would help me make society so much better. No, you can't go around leaving people to their own wills when there's repercussions to other people. And frankly, I do think the word responsibility should be kept in place in closing, because as Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility. And don't think that having vulnerabilities is not power. Vulnerability is knowledge, and knowledge is power. And again, when you have the ability to create damage to people you've never seen, they never know you, you have a responsibility to not create damage irresponsibly. And
That
again,
was more than 5 seconds.
yeah, but okay, sorry. I thought you were saying closing remarks. I didn't take my 5. I'm just using my closing.
So, closing remarks. You know, I think that the variations of opinions, you know, in this are really this is what we have to work through together as an industry. You know, we're not going to get anywhere if we keep talking past each other. You know, so we really do need to. We need to be listening to each other. We need to be respecting each other's opinions. We need to be working towards something better, and that's not something that any one entity in disclosure can decide for another entity. So vendors can't, you know, call all the shots. Finders can't call all the shots. Coordinators can't call all the shots. So, and regulation is not going to solve that problem. I can tell you that much. You know, regulation is not going to help us all get along. And this is what we actually need to do. We actually need to take it from a politics focus to a people focus. This is about protecting people. So if we're all on that page, guess what? We're all on the same team. Let's stop fighting about it and work against the real adversary, who are the criminals, who are actually doing no disclosure, right? So let's focus on the actual outcome that we want, which is to get people safer. Of course, we're going to disagree on, you know, the best and most efficient road to that outcome. That's the point of the discussion. That's the point of coordinated vulnerability disclosure.
I think one of the best things that is going on right now in the disclosure debate is that it is actually happening. We're actually discussing what the rules should be. We're actually discussing what the names should be. we're not talking past each other. We're not waving our fingers at each other. There is engagement on both sides. And that is tremendous. It is the thing that we have been missing for some years. It is the thing that we have been suffering for. And I'm so happy to see it happening. So I'm just going to leave things at that.
I think that was an excellent closing statement. That is actually happening, and that it's happening on levels where everyone's opinion's being heard. I think you kind of mentioned that. So it can't just be an organization that's been here for 20 years and is dominant. Everyone's opinion matters. Everyone has input. I want to thank the panelists. I want to thank Stefano for his input, Ira for his, Katie for being in the hot seat a lot here. We really appreciate it. And Dan, thank you very much. I don't think that we have any time for questions, but I'm sure that if you corner any one of these individuals, they'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of Black Hat.
Thanks a lot.